Hey everyone, it's been a long time since I made a video, but spring is almost here, winter's almost over in Sweden, so I thought I would just give you a short video showing you how the lawn is looking coming out from winter and what my plans are for the spring. Now, we have good weather today, it's about 12 degrees Celsius, but most Swedes know it could easily just snow next week again. And I haven't made a video in a long time, and I wish I could say I had good reason, but I've just been lazy. All right, so let's have a look at the lawn. All right, so this is how the lawn is looking coming out from winter. And this winter we haven't had much snow. We've had snow in periods, but most of the time it's been pretty much frozen, which is kind of worse because if you walk on it, then you might damage the crown of the grass. But I usually don't care about that. We use the lawn anyways. I mean, it's a lawn. I don't care. If some of it dies, you just reseed next year. But this is how it's looking. And if you look from this angle, it's not looking too bad. But that's kind of cheating because you don't see all the spots where it's died off, where I've had snow mold. So I went upstairs and filmed from there because then you can actually see a better picture of how the lawn is looking. And as you can see, I have a lot of spots where it's died off. And it looks like snow mold. If you live in an area where you have a lot of snow and it gets cold, I mean, that's just gonna happen. And we are not allowed to use any fungicides of any kind, so you just have to live with it. But still, I mean, compared to how it's been looking the last couple of years, where pretty much, I would say, 60–70% of the lawn has died, I think this is looking pretty okay for being this early. I mean, the season hasn't started. The ground temperatures haven't reached 8 degrees Celsius, and that's what you need for the grass to wake up again. So it's still dormant, so it's looking pretty okay. Now on the side strip, it's actually looking pretty good. And for those of you who didn't follow me last year, I seeded this part with Barenbrug RPR, the ryegrass, but I added a lot of creeping red fescue to it. And maybe that's it. Maybe it's the creeping red fescue that has survived. I'm not sure yet. And on the side here and in the front, I decided to seed only Kentucky bluegrass. And Kentucky bluegrass, from all the tests I've read, is the grass type that should handle cold weather and winter the best. And it seems that it has. The only problem I've had here is that it's been infested with so much POA. As you can see from last year, you can see it's just so many spots with light green color, and that's POA. And that's because Kentucky bluegrass takes forever to germinate and actually establish. So if you have any weeds or POA or anything, it's easier for it to kind of push out the Kentucky bluegrass before it has time to germinate. And that's also one of the reasons why I like ryegrass. It grows so fast. If something happens, if you have bare spots anywhere, it's just so fast to just get some seed on it. It gets established pretty quickly and comes up pretty quickly, and it's fixed and you can use the lawn again. But one thing I noticed in the front is that Kentucky bluegrass won't work there. I think I just have too little sun in the front. And when we moved in, that apple tree, that was new, so it was really small. And I haven't taken into account that it has gotten a lot bigger in 7 or 8 years. So now it kind of shades the entire area. It sucks up more of the water, more of the nutrients. So the grass, the Kentucky bluegrass, isn't doing too good around that area, around the tree. But still, it's still looking a lot better than when I had my perennial rye there, the RPR. Last year, pretty much, I would say 90% of the front died off. This year, it's doing a lot better, but you can see around the tree, it's not doing too good. Yeah, so I need to do something about the front. So I don't think Kentucky bluegrass is going to work there. So I need to find the grass type that works better. So I'm thinking I am going to put in some creeping red fescue, because creeping red fescue doesn't need as much nutrients, it doesn't need as much water. Now you would think, why don't you just use a shade mix? Most of the shade mixes here in Sweden contain POA Triv, and it's also very light in color, just like POA Annua. And I don't really like it. It just stands out too much. But we'll see. I think I will maybe use some kind of shade mix mixed in with Creeping Red Fescue and see how that does. And for the backyard, I had a plan to maybe use Creeping Bent, but then I had a look into my shed and saw how much seed I actually have. I have so many bags of seed and it's starting to kind of annoy people here in my house that I am hogging up all the space in the shed. So I'm just gonna use whichever seed I have left and kind of use that up. And I think I will use mostly Creeping Red Fescue since it seems to do better. And I actually bought a lot of sand last year and I was planning to use sand to level it off. I've never done that. I don't like to do it because sand is a dead material, but I want to try it at least once. But I didn't get to it, as I said, the laziness. So hopefully this year I can use the sand I have. And also one last thing, a lot of people have reached out asking me about the vertical drains I did and if they worked. And I did those drains all over to see if that kind of helped drain the melting snow and give me less snow mold, give me less issues, less die off. And I mean, as you can see, less of the grass has died off compared to last year. I'm 100% sure it's not because of the vertical drains. It's probably because I have more Creeping Red Fescue, we have a milder winter, but it could also be partially due to the vertical drains. I have no clue. I mean, I could say it's because of it, just to act cool, but I don't know. It might be part of the reason, it might have done absolutely nothing. So I'm not sure. I'm trying a lot of stuff. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what helps, what doesn't help. But as I said in that video, it took so little effort to do it. So even if it helps just a little bit, I'm happy with it. All right, that's it. And as usual, I say I'm gonna do a short video and I always end up talking a lot. And I know people comment on that too, but I don't care. I mean, if I have something to say, I'll say it. If I talk a lot, you just have to speed run through the video. But yeah, this is how the lawn is looking at the moment, and my plans are to just renovate it, use more Creeping Red Fescue in the back, all the seeds I have, and maybe introduce some shade mix in the front. And then I'm gonna try to level it off a bit with sand this year. Now we'll just have to see when the season can actually start. As I said, the weather in Sweden is always like this. It gives you hope early in March, and then suddenly the temperatures drop again. You might even get some more snow, but who knows, weather is just crazy these days. Last year, I think the last snow went away, I think it was end of April, so my first mow was mid-May. But looking at the weather now, if it continues like this, I will be mowing in a couple of weeks. But again, who knows? But we'll see. But it was very fun to make a video again. I haven't made one in a long time. It was really fun. I like talking. And every time I talk, I imagine talking to you guys, especially those of you who comment. So I always feel like I'm talking directly to you. So it makes shooting videos so much more fun. So that's why I encourage you to just write comments. I love reading them. I love answering them. And it makes shooting videos so much more fun for me, because then I can feel like I'm talking directly to you. All right, so we'll see when I can do another video, if something happens in the lawn, if the weather continues like this. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.